Mele Buicas, Asta Caroloher. I'll speak in our own language first, if I may, for just a brief period. So, he should curse, honest, se build and realtus, chalk the lawyer, build and call a stoit, Áras out ambassadori build and call diplomatique, Ian Iliog, Farum Firkin Forgerove, Goras and Octrundon Ocoid special to show. Isak Oidi Gewilmutic Brana Gratum special to dead son. Funok will should learn her Sentir Shaw, Akwell Iraq the Horankanojanta Aka, Avi Karakta, yes, Winter the hÉireann, no better service special to Did vi a chastalot who no a Harringtine Elia, a Horan Clue, a Mali Eswilla, hÉireann, August some winter. It is the ministers, deputies, ambassadors, and distinguished guests all. As President of Ireland, may I say how delighted I am to welcome you all to Uachtarán for this very unique occasion as we are honouring 10 recipients of the Presidential Distinguished Service Award for the Irish abroad for the year 2024. To our recipients, and it is your evening indeed, and those with you, Fáilte Cealla Grove, which means the very possible extent of welcomes to you. You are especially welcome, and Sabine and I are delighted that you are with us in Uachtarán to celebrate and acknowledge your achievements. Some of the guests are from the United States, and may I, before I say anything else, offer you my profound condolences to those people who have been the families of all those and to all those affected by the tragedy in Washington, D.C. last night. We are thinking of those who lost their lives, their families, and those involved in the rescue efforts, wishing them well. And such wonderful people as were lost. And also, I know we have a recipient this evening from Los Angeles as well, I would like to say, is that all of us who know of the immigration to the west coast of the United States, and many who have so many relatives there, including Sabina, that we just have our thoughts. I hope that your recovery from this terrible climatic event is one that will be successful. Joining us as recipients of the presidential awards this evening are former United States, as he is referred to in the United States, Senator Patrick Leahy. And I just want to send his wife, Massa. You are most welcome. And I want to just simply say, many years ago, decades ago, all of us who were interested in derechos humanos and human rights, Carton and Dena, were aware of the extraordinary, exemplary lead as a parliamentarian that Senator Leahy was giving. And I want to pick this opportunity to his exceptional record of public service of nearly half a century. It's an exceptional record of in the United States, but also during it. I said, all of those who worked on support for Ireland's peace process and support for Ireland's initiatives are grateful for his work in relation for being such a steadfast friend of Ireland, as he still is. And I have to say, that is so, and as both of us have had a conversation about, he still sees the strength of human rights without borders. Séamus Coleman, I mentioned just a few because I know them better and haven't had the opportunity of until this evening of meeting some of the rest. But Séamus Coleman is captain of the Irish national football team, Ostunanal, from Donegal. He has 73 senior caps representing Ireland. He's also captain of Everton Football Club and has new responsibilities now in relation to the matter with which I wish him well. He joined, and what I wanted to say about this interesting, about interviews of people abroad, going to, as a young soccer player, to England was very challenging and so on. And Séamus is regarded as an example, an icon of people. The interviews he gives are about, for example, the relationships in the new home in which you're lodging as a young soccer player. What is an appropriate relationship to fellow members of the team and the management? And he's quoted everywhere as an example, in fact, as a player, in fact, from whom people should look as an example. And I do as well, to have to say that. Now, I had to explain to the Duke of Edinburgh at one stage about the significance of being a defender and having scored so many goals. But I wasn't so successful. But Séamus is a great example of that generation in Great Britain. I think as well, people, all of the rest of them have had the opportunity of meeting this evening Aduke Gomez, Rosalind Scanlon, Professor Enrico Terrinoni, who has received so many awards for his distinguished work in translation, particularly in relation to Joyce, Wilde, Shaw, all of them in many, many cases. And I was grateful to him for his translation of my own work as well. Now, I think that in relation to all of this, I think Orla Kiely, Mary O'Neill, Pam O'Mahony, and Stella Leahy, you are all most welcome, and those who are accompanying as your guests. And we are joined in spirit by Sister Teresa McKeon, on whom I will confer the award in absentia, and who has done such incredible work in Sierra Leone. Now in its 13th year, as you've just heard from Jared, the Presidential Distinguished Service Awards have provided an opportunity to acknowledge the generosity or exceptional experience that has been allowed to touch the heart of the migratory experience. Migration, ingrained in the Irish psyche, is something that is part of our definition of ourselves. It has played a profound role in defining us as a people and as a society. The occasion of the awards ceremony enables us as a nation to recognize those members of the global Irish family who have contributed in their different ways so significantly to Ireland's reputation and international stage as a country that understands the migratory experiences, its challenges, responsibilities, and the part that transience plays in all of our shared lives. The central importance, I think, in ancient Irish culture of what we call óstachas, or hospitality to the stranger. We have a long and indeed at times traumatic history of immigration, of leavings and dispossessions and separations, and assistance too from the great distances of mixed experience. The London Times said about our immigration to the United States, "They will never let us forget it, and they have gone to one of the countries that will be one of the most powerful in the world." This is decades after the suggestion that 1 million Irish dying wouldn't be sufficient to reduce the population problem, as Nassau Senior wrote about the Irish famine. Our history is marked by the journeys of millions who've left. I think altogether since 1800, 10 million Irish people have gone abroad. I think sometimes, as I have just said, it's involuntary. At times, other times, it was simply in search of a better life. And so there's hardly a family on this island that is not marked in some way by the memory of those who lived in the present centuries, often never to return again. If it is one of the great failures in social science that it made the assumption that the natural condition is one of being sedentary, when in fact history tells us that the natural condition is one of continuous movement and migration. Understanding and responding to migration is one of the important contributions to humanity, a contribution from wherever one is located, indicating as it does, a consciousness of shared global vulnerability and potential citizenship of the responsibilities and opportunities that come with it. To so many of our diaspora, whether first generation Irish or of Irish descent, we owe an enormous debt of gratitude for the generous connection that they worked to preserve with us through the generations. Some of us recall in the statistics the sum of money entered under emigrants' remittances. That they went on to bring honour and make such a significant contribution in their new settings is to be appreciated. But their connection to their families and to the country of their forebears is of immense significance. A special debt is due to those who wrote of the migratory experience. And here again, those original scholars of the post-famine period and the end of the 19th century were American scholars. I think as well we know people like Jim Donnelly, and again of Kirby Miller's study of the letters. But they were very valuable, because in that period we're not actually, Irish historiography had not moved to a deep understanding of migration. And this evening's awardees are following the footstep of all of those others who were proud to be Irish. It's interesting that it was only in 1948 that the Irish felt free to have a commission on immigration. So to those scholars who filled in on the American experience, and they have come regularly to Ireland, and I am so grateful. And as I have said, the spirit of generosity and their qualities of an inward being and an inclusive outward gaze is so essentially the best of our Irishness. It defines the essence of Ireland, and it has been practically and magnificently demonstrated by the honoured guests here this evening through their lives and work and their contribution of distinguished service to Irish and to Irish communities abroad. And if I say as well, and it has even become more important, their contribution has not only been of an economic or financial kind, and there were very many complexities out with it. Very often they are called upon to defend the reputation of Ireland, when the reputation of Ireland is unfairly attacked by those with sinister motives. Each of our awardees has embarked on a unique journey, some born in Ireland, some born abroad, so to Irish parents and grandparents who left Ireland, and more often than not, because it was involuntary. And then there are those who have no blood connection with us, but through their experiences have developed a deep affinity for this country in all its aspects, be it social life, its literature, and so on. Though as I think to wherever you come from, and the globe, the United Kingdom, United States, Italy, Australia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, it's great to think in many, many ways that spirit of Irishness is present in all of these places. However, whatever binds you together is that you belong to the global Irish family. And I think exemplars of a shared, undeniable common humanity in your different ways, in a shared world of discovery and responsibility in so many areas of society. You have worked tirelessly to promote equality, peace, reconciliation in our world, and as I've already mentioned, distinguished work in human rights. Some of the awardees have chosen to advocate for the vulnerable, ensuring access to education for some of the most marginalized, demonstrating to a refusal to accept injustice and determination to advocate what is right, what will benefit and what has benefited the lives of countless people across the world. Others have tried to champion community inclusion and equality, which in these turbulent times are concepts that are sadly under threat. Providing source support to Irish communities across the world, championing Irish talent and creativity is your shared experience and achievement. And among you two are those who promoted a deep appreciation of our rich culture, both past and contemporary, and the excellence that has been sought and achieved by our sportspeople. Uachtarán Ní Bhriain, may I thank you deeply for representing Ireland so well, and for your personal efforts, service, sacrifices and contribution to the achievement of excellence in your various fields. And I do appreciate and look forward to your continuing support for that version of Irishness of which we are all proud, and is not dependent on any particular one theme. These awards reflect to our shared moral commitment to in international terms, to building a world founded on the principles of empathy, equality, genuine concern for the well-being of others. And since we began these awards, our world has experienced and continues to experience interacting crises. I've referred to consequences already. Unfortunately, there is an ever-growing shadow of war, where before we had the practice and results of diplomacy. We're meeting a time of great challenges, of profound global uncertainty, even danger. as forces we had long thought vanquished to the margins of political life have re-emerged, promoting hatred, division, racism and sexism. The concentration of global wealth in hands that are not accepting the responsibility that is attached to it, assisted by an uncontrolled media, presents a new danger, one, I think, that not only it tackles democracy itself. As these crises and these new forces that are emerging cast a dark shadow on the world, it will be difficult to see the light at times through the vision of a peaceful, sustainable and just world where every individual can flourish. But you will be able to say that you gave your lives to that vision of the possibilities and frailties and vulnerabilities of humanity. And it is why at times like this, we are so grateful to be able to draw on our support network. And not, as I have said, for just economic support, but for support in defending our reputation. The network in our global Irish family, including our awardees, they embody so many of the qualities necessary if we are to craft and formulate the answers necessary to the shaping of a better future. You have exemplified in your different ways the transformative power of a participative, active form of citizenship, born from compassion, generosity, demonstrating as that does that each person has the capacity to engage and participate fully for the betterment of society and make a meaningful impact on the world around them, be it local, national or international. And may I extend my appreciation to all of the members of the high-level panel who deliberated on this year's Presidential Service Awards. I thank them for their service and for the diligence with which they once again approached their task, and I'm so glad that there's so many of you here this evening. Very full shuruv. And may I thank Doireann Ní Bhriain for agreeing at some short notice to present our ceremony. Agus Diana Bhriain skill we make so less. So may I thank all of our recipients once again here tonight for giving an illustration of that very best of our Irish characteristics. For your great generosity of spirit, your capacity to stand in solidarity with others, and the service that you render to Irish life and to those in the vulnerable world and to the life of your home communities across the world. I think let us all draw strength from these examples and dedicate our awardees that we get from our awardees and rededicate ourselves to the pursuit of a world where the dignity and rights of every individual are upheld and respected, a world seeking peace that is more inclusive, sustainable, just and harmonious, a world that we need for our shared precious planet that is in peril. Creek godgus livrísigus grach raharev good Irakti amakanshak rumila mahake tres liam levis barbanacht dontauki. I so wish you well in health and happiness and all of your future endeavors for humanity. And thank you for being with us, and my congratulations to you.